On this edition of Gameball NFL Endzone, we're going to recap the four matchups from Week 16, as well as give you the top four matchups going into the final week of the NFL season, that is Week 17. And of course, we'll give you our famous predictions as well. With that being said, Gameball NFL Endzone starts right now. What's happening, everyone? Welcome to Gameball NFL Endzone, where of course the football season never ends. I'm your host, Marcus Young Genius Jenkins.
I'm Michael Riley.
And I'm Luke Hartnett.
Once again, coming at you live from Stonewall Pizza, 1008 Mass Street, right here in downtown Lawrence, Kansas, on not only the final week of the NFL season, this is also the final podcast of the year 2017.
Happy New Year.
Oh,
Happy New Year.
In advance.
Also, give a round of applause for that.
I'm saying, we trying to do it, y'all. We appreciate the follow, we appreciate the support. Everyone that supports us on Twitter, the Facebook page, everyone that subscribed to the YouTube channel. If you have not followed us on those social media formats, or if you have not subscribed to that YouTube channel, we do encourage that you do so. We'll get more into that. Also, we hope everybody had a wonderful Christmas holiday as well. We're going to get into it. We're going to go ahead and jump into the recap of the four matchups that was in Week 16. We're going to kick things off with the Buffalo Bills, and here's the story of a man named Brady, Tom Brady, and the New England Patriots. The Patriots would be victorious in this matchup by a score of 37-16. Some stat lines for the Buffalo Bills. Quarterback Tyrod Taylor would go 21 for 38, 281 yards. Unfortunately, he would not find the end zone in this contest. Running back LaShawn the Real McCoy, 17 rushes for 71 yards. Deontay Thompson, the wide receiver, 4 catches for 91 yards. Total offense for the Buffalo Bills would only be 326 yards, along with 17 first downs. They would throw no turnovers, so solid in that. Their time of possession would be 28 minutes and 16 seconds. Now, defensively, they would accomplish 2 sacks, 4 tackles for losses, and they would create 1 interception. The stat line for the New England Patriots: Tom Brady, pretty solid on pass attempts, 21 of 28. 224 yards. He would throw 2 touchdown passes. He would also throw a pick in this game, as we mentioned, with the Buffalo Bills defense. Dion Lewis, the running back, 24 rushes, 129 yards, and he would find his way to the end zone 1 good time for the Patriots. Gronk, of course, being Gronk, 5 solid catches, 67 yards, and he would score a touchdown for the New England Patriots as well. The total offense for the New England Patriots would be 411 yards. 28 first downs, so they were definitely the chain movers in this contest between the two as well. 31 minutes, 44 seconds was time of possession. They would have 1 turnover in this game. Defensively, though, the New England Patriots were huge. 6 sacks in this contest and 11 tackles for losses. Luke, I want to start with you. How were the New England Patriots able to be so successful against Buffalo?
They were able to overcome an overturned touchdown at the end of the first half that would have given the Bills presumably a 17-13 lead. That it was a 13-13 game. Played a much more complete second half. I mentioned the 13-13 halftime score. I mean, Buffalo they probably should have had 3 touchdowns actually. The 1 field goal was legit, but I mean, at least they had the 1 touchdown drive. I'm sorry, they had the 1 touchdown drive. They had the overturned touchdown, and then they had a good drive going on that second field. I guess that would have been the first field goal attempt of the game, but they could have had 21 points at halftime, set up at 13, didn't play 4 quarters of ball. The Patriots, they just steady shows.
Before I get into the details, I want to ask you something. Did you think that was a catch or was it not a catch?
Yes.
Okay.
When you're jumping on Twitter and you're seeing guys like Mike Pereira and the like saying, "Hey, that's a catch. It's a shame that they have to go to a booth in a city far, far away, over the river and through the woods. They have to call reverse by it so much." It's when you're jumping on Twitter and social media and whatever else, and you're seeing posts, similar to that. I think that was a catch. Yes.
We don't know what's a catch or what's a catch anymore. It's fast real time. I thought it was a catch, but when he caught it and they looked at to see he bobbled a little bit and maintained possession, but the foot was out of bounds. So on their part, it said you have to keep control while wobbling. So that's the letter of the law, and that's where we have to get accustomed to. It's not happening against the Patriots. It's happening a few other teams as well. So we have to get accustomed to the letter of the law. It is what it is. We have to move forward. But that said, let's get into the matchup. Buffalo Bills was able to get some yards against the Patriots defense, and they couldn't hardly get to the quarterback here and there. They was running the ball effectively and was able to generate 13 points. But against the Patriots, you have to go all out and score touchdowns. And field goals is not going to win you games. But they stalled in the second half, and the Patriots was able to take advantage of it, and the Bills just fell off, and they didn't come back from it, and that was on them, and they lost because they let that overturned touchdown catch, which in the catch wasn't a catch. They let that get best of them, and it showed in the second half for the Patriots. They was able to take advantage of it, and Tom Brady has had a streak of throwing at least one interception in the last few games. That might be cause for concern, but he'll figure out and he'll get it going. But the running game was effective against the Bills defense. Then you have the passing game coming along with Gronk. That one-handed catch for a touchdown was nasty. I mean, he was just like this. Touchdown. I was just like, he just did him dirty. It was good coverage, but it was a great catch by Gronk. And the defense didn't show up in the first half, but the second half, they was able to get it going, was able to put pressure on the quarterback, sacked him 6 times, and gave tackles for loss, which is huge, and forced 3 and outs. And they're going to have to get better and get some turnovers deep into the playoff run. They recently acquired James Harrison, which would be help for the Patriots' defensive line because they're thin and there. But overall, it's just vintage Patriots, good win.
And as always, Tom Brady, he says to the defense, "Hi, my name is Slim Brady." The New England Patriots, 37, Buffalo Bills, 16. We're going to jump into the second matchup, and that is the Miami Dolphins and the Kansas City Chiefs. Those Chiefs will prevail, second win in a row. Kansas City Chiefs 29-13. They would once again handle business at home in Arrowhead Stadium. Jay Cutler, which might be getting ready to move into his final game, possibly again in his football career. 19 of 38, 286 yards. He would find an end zone for the Dolphins. Kenyon Drake, 13 rushes, 57 yards. Jakeem Grant, 4 catches, 107 yards, and a touchdown for the Miami Dolphins. Straight balling. 345 yards of total offense with 15 first downs to go along with that. 22 minutes and 7 seconds will be the time of possessions, along with 2 turnovers in this contest. Defensively, they did get 1 sack, 7 tackles for losses, 0 turnovers for the Dolphins. For the side of Kansas City, Alex Smith, 25 of 39, 304 yards passing in this one, and he would once again find an end zone. Maybe he may have found his rhythm again over these last few weeks, and which would be right on time going into the playoffs. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Kareem Hunt, cash rules everything around me. Kareem, get the money. Kareem Hunt, 29 rushes, 91 yards, and he would also find the end zone again for the Kansas City Chiefs. Tyreek Hill, 6 catches for 109 yards, so a good performance for him. 404 total yards of offense for the Kansas City Chiefs, along with 23 touchdowns, so they would definitely move the chains at Arrowhead as well. They would have 0 turnovers in this contest as well. 37 minutes and 53 seconds of time of possession. Defensively, they didn't come up with any sacks in this contest, but they would get a turnover, 1 tackle for a loss, but they would make up for that with 2 fumble recoveries. Mike, I want to switch this one to you. How was Kansas City able to be so dominant against the Dolphins?
Well, you starting to see the Kansas City Chiefs start going back to the formula like it did the first 5 weeks of the season. give Kareem Hunt the ball. He's able to do this thing, get some touchdowns, get the first downs, and get them going the running game early. And they're finally starting getting Tyreek Hill involved in the passing game as well. You can start seeing he's improving in his route running to get separation from the defender to make key catches. He also had a 33-yard catch for a first down to set up the Chiefs in the red zone part, and the defense played well. They was able to get some turnovers. They was able to stop the run, but they had a little hiccup here and there where they gave Grant that long 60-yard touchdown run. They missed 2 tackles on that play, so they got to work on something there. And overall, the Chiefs are playing good at the right time.
Yes.
And this could be a scary team going to the playoffs. So you can't take them for granted. So they play well. Offense, defense, special teams, that's what won them the game. Miami Dolphins had their chances, but they blew it. They ain't scored enough points on offense. Defense couldn't get enough 3-and-outs, couldn't get turnovers. And special teams was lacking as well, so that's the reason why the Dolphins lost the game.
Mike says that the Dolphins kind of had the chances. I respectfully disagree with that. My point being, the Miami Dolphins, you get your bottom feeder teams, your top tier teams, whatever else. You got the Patriots, you got the Browns, of all the teams that are kind of in between, you could tell earlier in the game that any other team in the league with the Miami Dolphins, did they come to play today? Did they not? 2 weeks ago against the Patriots, you knew third, fourth play of the game, it's fourth quarter game. It didn't take but a possession or two to see that they weren't in for a little more than they could bargain for. It was a name your score game for Kansas City. I could tell that just about. I get about that first and second possession. You could tell that they just kind of, I don't want to say didn't want to be there, but they just they weren't prepared. They were Florida boys in the cold. They're playing a team that's as red as their uniforms are right now. I mean, it was just a perfect storm for them to get beat.
Yeah, I was about to touch on that. Like Lou said, the Florida boys, when it gets cold and they come to the Midwestern country or the East Coast, they do not like to play in the cold weather. And that had an effect there on them. They was missing tackles. And they seem like they give up on places. Well, they seem like they want to play and get all their effort because they had a chance to win and they're still in the playoff hunt, but they blew it.
You got those other middle of the pack teams, the Titans, the Bills, the Ravens to an extent. They at least kind of string you along to about halftime, mid-third quarter before you say, okay, they don't quite have it, or they're going to get them guys. But the Dolphins, I can't put my finger on why it is. Maybe it's just me, but for the most part, I can usually tell they came or they ain't got it today.
It's probably the culture environment in Miami, if you would say that. Because when real leaders go into a locker room, they get on their players. They get on the guys. You see the Patriots, you see the Ravens, you see the Packers, you see all the good teams consistently year in, year out get on their players saying, we're still in this thing. And they rally behind them. But the Dolphins don't have that. They seem like a bunch of dysfunctional.
They don't have that dog.
Exactly.
They ain't got that dog in there.
But let me ask you guys this, because this is something that has been an Achilles for Jay Cutler back in his days in Chicago. For some reason, his leadership was always in question, and when it came down to it, it seems like he would fall short as a leader. And you see right here, 19 of 38 in those passing yards. He would throw for a touchdown at 286 yards, but they didn't have that fight. And I want to point out, they didn't even score in the second half. They got shut out in that second half against the Kansas City Chiefs.
And vintage Jay Cutler, he's got the talent in the world, but I want a leader. I want that dog, that alpha male dog, like Brady, Rodgers, Breeze, Roethlisberger, Cam Newton. Like, hey, let's come get it. Jay Cutler don't have that. He just seems like he cash in checks and go home. That's about it.
But what's that? The great Skip Bayless used to say this on ESPN, that clutch gene.
Yeah.
It seems like that's something that maybe he doesn't have it, or he just never had that opportunity to have someone bring it out of him. I don't know what it is.
I'm not sure Tannehill has it though either.
Well, only find out.
That's definitely something I'm telling you, with this performance, I'm telling you, we could probably have a whole podcast on this performance. But once again, the Kansas City Chiefs, 29-13. Alex Smith gets to sit out week 17. See you in the playoffs. We're going to jump into the third matchup. That is the Atlanta Falcons, a.k.a. the Dirty Birds, against the New Orleans Saints. The New Orleans Saints would be successful at home, 23-13 in this contest. Stats for the Atlanta Falcons: Matt Ryan, 22 of 36 on pass attempts, 288 yards. He would have a touchdown and an interception, respectively. Devontae Freeman, 11 rushes for only 36 yards in this contest. Julio Jones, 7 catches, 149 yards. 331 yards of total offense for the Falcons, as well as 15 first downs. They would have 2 turnovers in this contest on 26 minutes and 12 minutes of possession. Defensively, they would have a sack, 6 tackles for losses, and 1 pick in this contest. For the New Orleans Saints, Drew Brees was pretty much Drew Brees and making the quarterback position like it's a breeze for him. 21 for 28 pass attempts, 239 yards, 1 touchdown. He would throw a pick in this game. Mark Ingram, 13 rushes, only 44 yards in this contest. However, he would find himself in the end zone for the Saints. Ted Ginn Jr., 4 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown. 315 yards of total offense for the Saints, as well as 15 touchdowns. Similar stats, if you notice, offensively between the Falcons and the Saints. In this contest, they would have 1 turnover, 33 minutes or 48 seconds of time of possession. Defensively, it looks like they got it going more than anything. 5 sacks, 9 tackles for losses, a pick, a fumble recovery. So it seems like they were everywhere on both sides of the football today, during that game, Lou. How would you break down this matchup in the Saints win?
I mean, given the fact that the Saints were up 20-3, I think at one point late third, early fourth, really, what I want to touch with the Falcons is, I mean, they played probably, one of the worst games of the year. They still only lost by 10 at New Orleans. You hear about it with the Patriots, with the Steelers, the end of the, quote unquote normal year with Seattle and Green Bay, whatever else, with the Rodgers being healthy, whatever else, and the Seahawks, being more part of this year. You hear about that championship pedigree, and it's never mentioned in games like this. But Falcons went to the Super Bowl last year, got to a rough start this year, but again, they were down 20-3. They lost 23-13. It's that championship pedigree that kept them within 10. They didn't play well, but they played hard. That's going to go a long way this upcoming game against the Panthers for them. So we'll see what that championship pedigree has. But they're one of the few teams in the league that say they can have it, and even in defeat, it showed.
Mike, talk about the Saints. They look like they have definitely gotten together as well. They definitely look like they're definitely a favorite, you would think, going into the playoffs. Drew Brees, and it seems like this offense and defense is like they're clicking at the right time.
Oh, yes, they are. And they had Kamara back in this game, and that was a huge difference maker because he was getting key first downs as well as helping the offense out with the running game and the passing game. And Drew Brees was Drew Brees. It wasn't good in numbers really too much, but he kept it simple, and the running game took over here and there, and the offense was clicking. The offensive line did their part, and that's how the Saints was rolling on the offense. But the defensive side, they was causing havoc everywhere. I mean, bam, sack, interception, fumble recovery, you name it, they were doing it. And this kid, Lattimore, the rookie from Ohio State, he is balling. He started coming on his own. So he was doing the damn thing, and he had that butt interception off his leg and kept it going, and almost ran him back for the house. So that was good for the Saints. They was clicking offense, defense, and special teams. I want to touch on a little bit about the Falcons. What stands out to me is the 28-3, if y'all remember that. It seems like they're not there anymore. It seems like they're not clicking at the right time. It's just like that Super Bowl hangover, and mentally they're not there. They had fumble loss, interception, not scoring enough points, being down a lot of points. They're built to score a bunch of points, but now they're not built to come back from behind. So, and the defense got to step up. If the Falcons don't do nothing against the Panthers, it could cost them the playoff spot because Seattle is right behind them.
That's a great point that Mike made. I was following along on Twitter this past Sunday, and one of my favorite sports writers, Phil Simmons, he was talking about, he was kind of saying it tongue-in-cheek, but he's like, defensive coordinators must love preparing for the Atlanta Falcons. They got maybe 5 plays with absolutely no surprises at all. They are, as offensively explosive as they are not hard to prepare for. They're really not. They're just very good at what they do. Very similar to college games, I guess you'd say maybe Auburn or someone like that.
Right.
Very limited, but very well. But there's not a lot to prepare for with them.
I'm like, it's just like ever since that they gave up that 28-3 in the Super Bowl, it just seems like they're mentally not there. And I kind of figured that, and it showed. So they better wake up and play ball this week, because if they lose it to the Panthers and the Seahawks win, the Falcons is out the playoffs. So they got to have some aggression and have that dog and ball out.
All right, the Atlanta Falcons, they could be on the other side of the playoffs. They could be going fishing, like they say. They could be out watching other teams compete in the postseason. The Saints go marching into this one, 23-13, week 17. Right around the corner. With that being said, we're going to jump into the fourth and final recap, and that is the Seattle Seahawks and Mike's all-time favorite team, the Dallas Cowboys, a.k.a. Cowboy Nation. The Seattle Seahawks would be victorious in this game by a score of 21-12 at home, on the road, Russell Wilson, 14 of 21, 93 yards, 2 touchdowns to the house, and also 9 rushes for 29 yards. So he was a little bit of everything in week 16. Mr. Dane Baldwin, 4 catches, 35 yards. He would have a touchdown for the Seahawks. Only 136 yards, though, total offense for the Seahawks, with 15 first downs as well. Defensively for the Seahawks, 4 sacks, 5 tackles for losses, 2 interceptions, and a fumble recovery. Also, they would have 0 turnovers offensively, the Seattle Seahawks, 27 minutes and 10 seconds as well. So not the best effort, but they did come up with that W. Luke, we're going to speak on that in a second. Just want to quickly throw out some stats for the Cowboys. Dak Prescott, 21 of 34 on pass attempts, 182 yards. He would throw 2 picks in this contest. Ezekiel Elliott returning, of course, from that 6-game suspension, 24 rushes, 97 yards. Des Bryant, 3 catches, 44 yards. They still haven't found a way to kind of get him involved offensively, and I think it could have been what could have been a huge factor in this game, and for them not to walk out with a win at home. Defensively, though, they did play a little well. 3 sacks, 10 tackles for losses, 0 turnovers, 3 turnovers on the offensive end for the Cowboys. Luke, what happened to Dallas in this game?
You mentioned Elliott having 97 yards. I can't remember his quarter split, but he had 71 at halftime, 15 rushing yards in the third quarter, 9 in the fourth quarter. You mentioned the 3 turnovers too. There was actually 2 missed field goals in there as well, and I believe on the first of those 2 missed field goals, they had 1 goal to go at the 3. They run Dak to the 2, and then on second and goal from the 2, they drop back to pass again. He gets sacked, I believe. He either gets sacked or there was a holding or both. I can't remember. And plays a succession there. So what you have, it's basic math, really. 3 turnovers, 2 missed field goals, 1 L.
One look for disaster.
I just got an Amber Alert text that the Dallas Cowboys are missing from the playoffs. APB, looking out for him. Y'all, sorry. I knew the disaster would happen. This is the typical Cowboys. They'll never let you down. I can get on to how bad the Cowboys is, and my slogan is, the Dallas Cowboys are a bad luck in the making. I can get on to that, but I'm going to get to specific what happened to this game. You had Ezekiel Elliott running wild. He almost had 100 yards. Like Luke was touching. Why would you throw the ball at the 3-yard line on the first down play? Why? Just run him up the gut, touchdown, and you're closer to the game. Then throw another play in the second part of the play. Either it was a holding or he got sacked. Then settled for field goal. And then Dak Prescott threw a dummy pass, which was picked off for a touchdown. Seahawks cornerback Coleman took it back to the house. And then the crucial part, the kicker never misses field goals, and 2 critical missed field goals. Why right?
Under 40, both under 40 if I'm not mistaken.
Yes, and he usually is money of those.
Had one go up the upright, kind of faked it in there in the first half. Had another one kind of snake inside there. He had accuracy issues, even on the ones he made.
Exactly. He went wide left twice. Wide right twice. I'm just like, this is disaster. This is a recipe for disaster for the Dallas Cowboys. They have not won. They have. I was going to say this. The last 22 years, the Dallas Cowboys only have 2 playoff wins. Last 22 years, more teams have playoff wins in that span than the Dallas Cowboys. It's just sad. It's just pathetic. Now I think Jason Garrett needs to go.
They got to get Des Bryant out of there too. He had that little interruption on the sideline there in the first half with catches. It was his first catch, turns it upfield, fumble. That's Seattle's first touchdown. I believe he was the intended receiver on the pick 6. That's Seattle's other touchdown. Late there, when with the game up 14-12, has a pass hit him off the hands. He popped up in the air, interception. Seattle offense eventually turns that into a touchdown too. He was essentially responsible for. You take that away, the Cowboys win 4 field goals to 0. It's a 12-0 game. So they got to get. I mean, I think they're going to part ways anyway. So I'm not really stepping on a limb here, but I'm stepping on a limb the size of a tree trunk, I guess. They got to part ways with him.
But honestly, do you guys see that happening? Because we know the owner, Jerry Jones, is a really loyal person. He's definitely someone who's all about the players and the coaches and all about making players happy. Do you honestly see him actually making that risk and actually stepping up and say, okay, we do need to make changes?
He needs to. Jason Garrett hasn't done nothing as a head coach. He only has 1 or 2 playoff wins during his time, and it's dysfunctional. Yes, he was the coach of the year last year and all that, but you start to see he has not put up winning season. 8-8, 8-8, 8-8, 12-4, 8-8, 8-8, 8-8, 14-2, and 5 wins this year. It's just 5 or 6 wins this year. He has to go. He's been there a long time. He hasn't done nothing. There's other coaches out there who are qualified to be in his spot and give the Dallas Cowboys who need to be successful. Just Jerry Jones wants to keep Jason Garrett as his puppet. He's like Al Davis, God rest his soul, but he wanted to take advantage of the team and make decisions, whatever. I'm just like, he just need to lay back and chill out and let the coach be the coach. And that's Jerry Jones' problem. And also, Des Bryant, you got to trade him. Because they're not giving him involved in the offense as much.
They're not going to trade him. Here's why. I believe this is actually his contract. And Des Bryant, I think he'll take if he's going to take a pay cut, and be loyal to the team. And he said, and I quote, "Hell no, I'm not taking no pay cut." End of quote.
That speaks volumes right there. Ton of volume right there.
And Seahawks,
still in it.
They're still in it. They
wrote them off after the Rams. They're still in it.
They need to get the offensive line fixed. There's been issues there all season long. If they can find a way to get that offensive line fixed and start producing points, then you can start seeing some of Seattle's offense that we're accustomed to seeing. The defense, they play much better, but they can improve better in the running game. They almost gave 100 yards to Ezekiel Elliott, but they play much better to win this game. And there's also been some controversy with Earl Thomas running up to Jason Garrett, hey, come get me and all that. It seems like there is no more Legion of Boom. It seems like it's too much functionality. Ever since that Super Bowl,
someone called the Legion of Doom.
It seems like
I can't take credit for that, but it made me laugh.
It just seems like with the call on the Patriots in that Super Bowl, it's just
like they just never recovered.
Exactly. It just seems like teams that play against the Patriots never recover. You had the Seahawks on that goal line. Russell Wilson throw an interception, never recover. You had the Falcons 28-3, and they come back and win the Super Bowl against the Falcons 34-28. It just seems like the last 2 Super Bowls that people play against the Patriots, they haven't really recovered.
And the thing is, notice that both of those teams had a chance to win. And it's almost like, it's not that they lost, it's how they lost. It was heartbreaking. It's like you had them against the ropes, and then you I mean, I hate to use this as an example in Swiss sports. It's almost like how the Thunder a few years ago, when Durant was still there with Westbrook, you had Golden State down 3-1. How did you not finish? Like, what was it that you just let go, get grip around the neck, and then what happens? You end up with an L, and it's like you never are the same from something like that.
In the Seahawks' defense, they did get theirs before the Patriots had some back-to-back postseasons there, where they were they were playing, back-to-back February. That'll wear a team out too. Just to play devil's advocate.
Yeah.
Well, with that being said, I know Mike is happy to hear this. Cowboy Nation, sorry to say this. Happy trails until next season. Cowboy season is over after week 17. We're going to take a quick break, and we're going to do a quick recap, a quick breakdown of the top 4 week 17 matchups, as well as give you our predictions right here, Gameball Info Endzone. Welcome back to Gameball NFL Endzone. Of course, when the football season never ends, we're going to kick off the Week 17 top 4 matchup for you guys to keep an eye out for. Last week, once again, of the NFL season. We're going to start things off with the Carolina Panthers versus the Atlanta Falcons, who will be hosting the Panthers in Week 17. The Carolina Panthers currently 11-4. They are 5-2 on the road. This season, they're coming off a off a win at home against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers by a score of 22-19, also clinching a spot in the NFC playoffs and are currently tied for first in the NFC South. The Atlanta Falcons are 9-6, third in the NFC South, and they're looking to get a little revenge, if you would say, from their Week 9 loss against the Carolina Panthers, who beat them by a score of 20-17, and they're also looking to stay in the playoff hunt as well. The Atlanta Falcons are 4-3 at home this year. Luke, how would you break down this matchup?
Falcons had that first game. I don't want to say they had it won because there were still some points scored by both sides afterwards, but Julio Jones dropped his first touchdown since his rookie year. I remember that play very vividly too. I think they lost 20-17. I believe the score at the time was like 14-10, if memory serves me correct. But I remember thinking if the Falcons lose, we know why. And that turned out to be the difference right there. That was in Carolina. Carolina's got a lot to play for too. The most common thing you hear is a Panthers win and a Saints loss. They got the same record. The Saints swept them. Gives them a division. What you don't hear too many people saying is a Panthers win, but a Saints loss, and a Vikings loss to the Bears. They get a first-round bye in the Super Bowl. So Carolina's got a lot to play. They have equally as much to play for as Atlanta does in this one, and it's both teams are appropriately colored black in this one. It's usually a black and blue affair, and I don't expect this thing to be any different.
Well, even though Carolina's clinched the playoffs, they're still trying to play for the division title if the Saints lose. So Atlanta Falcons is definitely playing on their playoff lives. They're basically on life support because if the Atlanta Falcons don't win, the core is cut. They're out of the playoffs, and that's their playoff lives. So both teams is going to be swinging and fighting. It's going to be very close, competitive game. I think it's going to be the range of in the 20s, if I have to say. So both teams is coming in preparing and giving their all, and whoever has the ball last will win this game.
Big matchup going down in the NFC South. Once again, the Carolina Panthers, the Atlanta Falcons are at home. Once again, where they're currently 4-3, looking to make it 5-3 before the playoffs. The second matchup we're going to talk about is the Tennessee Titans taking on the Jacksonville Jaguars. The Tennessee Titans will play host in this matchup. The Titans are currently 8-7. They have a 5-2 home record, currently second in the AFC South, and coming off a loss at home to the Los Angeles Rams by a score of 27-23, and looking to make the playoffs for the first time since 2003. So they have quite a playoff drought. So definitely something to play for this year. That season also, just a side note, that 2003 season when they did make the playoffs, they would actually lose to the eventual Super Bowl champion, and that is your boys, the New England Patriots, as well. The Jacksonville Jaguars are currently 10-5. They're 5-2 at home, and they're sitting in first place in the AFC South, and they are off of a loss on the road to the 49ers by a score of 44-33, and looking to avenge their Week 2 loss to the Titans, in which they lost by a score of 37-16. Mike, how would you break down the Jaguars and the Titans?
Well, the Jaguars pretty much can rest their starters if they want to and all this other stuff. But for the Tennessee Titans, they have to win to get in. This is all or nothing. This is it. If you win and if somebody else loses, then you're in the playoffs. Last week they had a chance to upset the Rams at home on a 4th down and play. Marcus Mariota just missed the wide receiver by this much. The defense didn't play well enough to win that game. They gave up big yards against the Rams, especially Todd Gurley with over 200 yards in total offense, like in the 250 range. He was balling in the running game, balling in the passing game. They just could not find a way to stop him. If they can find a way to stop Leonard Fournette and force Blake Bortles to beat Blake Bortles of throw bad interceptions and all that, they'll find a way to win this game. So for the Titans, defense that has to step up. Offense has to be more aggressive now, since DeMarco Murray is out the year for the season with a knee injury, which will be the last game of the season. That's a huge blow to the Titans' offense. So they have to be aggressive. Now, you can't be conservative. This is your playoff lives. Your playoff lives is on life support, still going until that flat line hits. So for them to deploy that flat line, they have to be aggressive and score points to win this game.
Jacksonville's got a few ways to play this. They, as you mentioned, they lost 2 months already. That game was at Jacksonville too. The previous meeting was the Titans win at Jacksonville. But it's interesting for Jacksonville because you don't want to lose 2 in a row. They just gave up 40 plus to the Niners last week. You want to have some momentum. You want to beat your division opponent. Nobody wants to get swept. And as you know, competitors, we don't want to win. Right. But if the playoffs started today, they're hosting Tennessee. So do they throw what they call, you hear this term in the preseason, a vanilla game plan at them, and then kind of hoodwink them a week later with just, 4th of July extravaganza of X's and O's that the Titans won't see this Sunday. So it's on the one hand, you want to knock your division rival out, you want to win the game, but at the same time, it's nice to have that luxury of that little joker in your back pocket, so to speak.
We'll find out, see when Sunday gets here.
Tennessee and Jacksonville coming at you in Week 17. We're going to jump into the third matchup, and that is the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Baltimore Ravens. The Baltimore Ravens will be at home in this matchup. Interesting fact, of course, that been quite the topic of the NFL week is this game is being moved from 1 p.m. to 4:25, so quite a difference in time, and I'm pretty sure that's not the adjustment that either one of these teams was kind of looking for. The Cincinnati Bengals are 6-9, 2-5 on the road this year, and are 3rd in the NFC North. And they're fresh off of a home win against the Detroit Lions by a score of 26-17. The Baltimore Ravens are 9-6, 2nd in the AFC North, and they won at home last week to the Indianapolis Colts, 23-16. And they are 5-2 currently at home. What do you like about this matchup, Mike?
Well, this is matchup for the Ravens making the playoffs, and the Cincinnati Bengals playing Grinches trying to ruin your playoffs. Since they have nothing to lose, they're not in the playoffs. So, but Baltimore Ravens has to be careful. They can't take Cincinnati for granted. Cincinnati is played ball the last couple of games, especially on defense. So Baltimore has to get that running game going and be efficient at it. And the passing game, Joe Flacco has to come alive instead of being inconsistent. Sometimes he can be consistent, inconsistent, consistent, inconsistent. He has to have a consistent game to win and get into the playoffs. So for the Baltimore Ravens, you win, you're in, since they're at the 5th seed of the wild card playoff. If you lose, you could possibly not be in the playoffs. So for this Baltimore Ravens, you have to win this game. You can't take Cincinnati for granted because Cincinnati is going out there. They're going to play hard. They're going to try to give you everything they got, and they're going to try and mess it up for you. So for Baltimore Ravens to win, they have to be efficient and effective offense, defense, special teams. I trust their defense more than I trust their offense because their defense can get it done consistently, the running game, but the passing game, yeah, here and there. But the defense is going to have to make big plays to keep Baltimore Ravens in and to win it.
I kind of know the Bengals an apology. I wrote them off after that 2 weeks ago after Marvin Lewis allegedly, announced his in the coaching at the end of the year. They went to Minnesota, laid an absolute egg. I didn't think they come close to beating the Lions. They beat them by 9. So apologies to Cincinnati. I also still remember the Bengals getting beat week 1 at home by Baltimore 20-0. So it's. Mike pretty much did a good job of covering everything there. Mike also mentioned when we were doing the recaps there of how just apathetic the Seahawks offensive line is on the preseason. They had a running back named Alex Collins, who was I remember being a stud running back at Arkansas there for his 2 or 3 year time with the Razorbacks. And he's one of the, I think, I don't know where he's at on the rushing chart, but it's like yards per carry. He's like top 2, top 3 in the league. So if they can get him going, and I think they will, I like the chances.
It's a big matchup for both the Ravens and the Bengals in this matchup. Let's see if Baltimore can get it done at home in Week 17. We're going to talk about the final matchup to give to you guys to be on the lookout for in Week 17, and that is the Arizona Cardinals and the Seattle Seahawks. Speaking of the Cardinals, definitely want to give a birthday shout to Mr. Carson Palmer, who turned 38 today, and he is in a fraternity of only 4 quarterbacks. That includes your man Tom Brady as well as Drew Brees as active quarterbacks that are 38 years or older and are still active currently in the NFL. Also, this could be the head coach, Bruce Ariana of the Arizona Cardinals. This could be potentially his last season as the head coach. We know that they're currently trying to persuade him to return next year with the odds and a lot of things that are being rebuilt going into Arizona next year. So there's definitely a lot of interesting stories there. We're going to start with the Arizona Cardinals, who are currently 7-8. They're 2-5 on the road, 3rd in the AFC West, and they're off of a shutout win over the New York Giants by a score of 23-0. We're going to jump into Seattle, 9-6. They're currently 4-3 at home. Once again, they're hosting the Cardinals. They're 2nd currently in the NFC West. They defeated, like we talked about in the recap, the Dallas Cowboys by a score of 21-12 on the road and snapping a 2-game losing skid and bouncing back from a loss also previously to the Jacksonville Jaguars by a score of 42-7. Luke, what do you like about this matchup between the Cardinals and the Seahawks?
Bruce Arians actually had the audacity to call Seattle their home field. It kind of struck me. It kind of struck a chord with me at first, and I got to thinking they got it going on pretty good at Seattle. Actually, the year Seattle beat Denver in the Super Bowl, only home game they lost was to Arizona. They've lost back-to-back home games against the Cardinals. One was a Sunday Night Football a few years ago. Seattle was in I don't want to say they were in a similar situation because Seattle did make the playoffs next year, but they lost a Week 16 game that we would have given them home field actually, or not a home field, but a first-round bye anyway. They lost that game as well. So.
And that game was a tie last year.
The first matchup was, yes. Yeah. The first matchup in Arizona on Sunday Night Football was a tie, yes, absolutely. But I think this game's going to be more of a mirror image of the Thursday night game from earlier this year. Seattle's laying 8 points. I think that's pretty accurate. You mentioned Carson Palmer. He's been out for a while now. Adrian Peterson, he's been out for a while now. He's out for the season. He's still got a healthy Fitz up there. It'd be a great 2008 fantasy football team for the Cardinals. But there's so much going on here that, I mean, the Cardinals are playing the absolute, you said Arians out with the win. Seattle could win, could still miss the playoffs as well. A lot of moving variables.
Yeah, for the Arizona, if they want to win and ruin Seattle's chances not getting the playoffs, their defenses have to go on attack against that Vonage offensive line of Seattle, especially on that left side. Because that left side has been decimated, and that's where the Achilles heel is. Just put Chandler Jones on that side. You can sneak a linebacker, go a double blitz off that side, blow it up. You have to stop the run, which Seattle does not have a consistent running game, and passing game is inconsistent for Seattle Seahawks as well. So if they can do those things on defense and force turnovers, they'll be fine. Offensively, they're going to have to be physical. They're going to have to run the ball, control their clock, time of possessions, get some good key short throws, get to playmaker Fitzgerald on third down, let him do his thing, and get first downs that can lead to touchdowns. So those are the keys for Arizona. For the Seattle Seahawks, they have to do better offensively. That offensive line, it has to shaken up and change for you to have a chance to win this game. So for Seattle, they have to run the ball effectively on offense, and the pass game has to come along. And it's just so much that the offense has to do to win this game. If they can do it, they can win. Defense, you have to stop the run. And the secondary, ball out. If they can do that, they'll win this game.
All right, we'll see if the Cardinals can play playoff spoiler. Seattle Seahawks still in the playoff hunt going into Week 17. It's winner go home time, like we talked about. It's almost the playoffs. We're gonna jump into our world famous predictions of Week 17. We're gonna start with the Carolina Panthers and the Atlanta Falcons. Luke, who you got?
I'm gonna go with the Panthers in this one. Not just the Falcons. You look at the whole city of Atlanta. I mean, the Braves had that 14-year stretch of playoffs where you got the one World Series win for them and all the heartbreak hotel that came with it. The Hawks kind of speak for themselves. Georgia football kind of really has always kind of been out there on the present. Can't quite break through. Falcons had their chance last year with a 20-3 lead. The thing about it, you look at the Falcons this year. There's really no win or lose. All their games are the same. What I mean by that is you look at some of the scores there. Whether they win or lose, I mean, they beat the Saints 20-17. They lost to the Bills by the same score. Both them games were at home. They beat the they beat the Buccaneers 24-21 a few weeks ago. They just all their games are pretty much a mirror image. I expect the score to be somewhat similar to that. So with that said, the aforementioned opponent, the Panthers, first meeting was 20-17 as well. I think the Panthers win this one by a somewhat similar close score, 24-20.
I'm going to go with the Panthers as well because the Panthers are playing for a division title if the Saints lose. They're not going to just rest up and all that and let their players sit. They want to play for the division title and a home playoff game. Everything's on the line for the Carolina Panthers. And so I'm going to say the Carolina Panthers will make a critical play offensively at the end to win that game. Defense is going to ball out. Luke Kuechly, you got Davis back from suspension. That also helps on the Carolina.
Remember, that was a 2-game suspension and the appeal got down to 1. That's a huge point. Thank you.
Yeah, so he's coming back into the game. That is huge for the Panthers defense. And if the secondary can play well, then they'll be fine. Offensively, we're going to know what Cam Newton and the crew going to do. So I'm going with the Panthers. I'm going to say the Panthers win this one 31-17.
I have to agree with you guys. The Panthers definitely have turned it on at the right time. They know what time it is. You know, Cam Newton is he's a leader. So I definitely expect him to go into Atlanta. I think he's going to be dabbing on them and ripping off the Superman outfit. I think he's going to do it all. I think the Panthers are going to be fine. The Falcons, the thing that just concerns me about this team year in and year out, you never know what team shows up. It could be the team that went to the Super Bowl a year ago, or they could be that team that just has so much talent, but they don't always show it at times. And that's been my biggest concern for the Falcons. I think the Carolina Panthers will take care of business on the road. I expect this to be, I will give them a score of 28-14. I like the Panthers on the road.
I don't think enough has been made about Kyle Shanahan not being there anymore for me either.
Yes.
That is a big part, and Sarkisian is not doing enough with the talented offensive weapon he has, and you still have that Super Bowl hangover.
Absolutely. All three going with the Panthers over the Falcons on the road. Second matchup, Tennessee, Jacksonville. Mike, who you got?
I got Tennessee with this one because I think they're going to come out to play. I think they're going to come out swinging. I think Jacksonville might take a break and lay off a little bit, but Luke mentioned that it is competitive and they don't want to be sweet. But I'm still going to pick the Tennessee Titans in a close game to win this one. I said they'll find a way to get a field goal range to win it. So I'm going to say this one 20-17 Tennessee.
I think Jacksonville takes the KC approach this week. I think it's the closest thing they need to a bye week. I mean, at this point, you have to think, you want to win. but you don't want to win in this particular game. You don't want to win at all costs. You want to be healthy. Even if you get swept, who cares? You get your revenge game the next week at home again. I think Tennessee wins too. Not because I think they're the better team, just the better setup. Much more to play with. They do have the one win already over Jacksonville, so they can play with them. I'm a big Mariota fan. I'm really rooting for him. I find myself, as I'm getting older and older in years, I kind of find myself cheering for teams a little less than I used to. Huge fan of players. I'm a big Mariota guy. I really hope that he has that, in the next year or two, that breakout season where he gets it, where he's elite. He's top 7, top 10 quarterback in the league. So I'll go Tennessee 24-17 in this one. They played really well against the Rams last week, and the Rams had so much to play for as well. And Tennessee, I thought they had them. I was watching that game pretty much in its entirety. I thought they had them. Tennessee, good team, they'll win.
I'm going to have to agree with this one. I like Tennessee. They're at home. They have a playoff appearance on the line. The first time making the playoffs since 2003. That home crowd behind them. I can see Mariota playing a fantastic game in this one. There's something on the line. This could actually be, in my opinion, Marcus Mariota's, like you just mentioned. This could be his breakout game. This could actually be that game that actually really puts him on the map of being an up-and-coming quarterback. So I'm going to say this is going to belong to Tennessee. I think they're going to handle it. If Jacksonville does play, but granted, if they do decide to sit this one out, I think they'll find a way to get it done. I'm going to give them a score of, I'm going to say 28-7 in this one.
Yeah,
I think
you want all your players healthy for the playoffs, especially the wild card weekend.
Absolutely. Now the third game, Luke, Cincinnati, Baltimore. Who you like?
Baltimore. They beat them week 1 in Cincinnati 20-0. That was just little did we know that just how good this Ravens defense is going to be. 40-0 over the Dolphins. 23, albeit with Brett Hundley at quarterback. 23-0 at Green Bay against the Packers. I don't know that they shut them out this game per se, but I think it's going to be a close to a shutout anyway. They're going to get Alex Collins going. Flacco's going to protect the ball. I think Baltimore playoff again. If the playoffs started today, would be at Kansas City. I like that matchup for Beemore. They took Pittsburgh right to the precipice both times they played them. Haven't seen them play New England in the regular season. We always know what kind of great games they are. Rarely a blowout one way or the other. Whoever wins there. Baltimore beat that one team. When it was Super Bowl 47, they had to go to wild card right there as well. So I think they win this one. I'm going to say 27-7. Cincinnati's just not on the same plane, not even close.
Well, I'm going to go with the Baltimore Ravens as well. I feel like their defense is going to make more plays to win that game. But Baltimore has to be careful because this could be a trap game. Because Cincinnati is looking at to ruin your playoff season.
Right.
So you have to be careful not to take this game for granted. If the Baltimore Ravens in the second half convert a lot of their third downs, because against Indianapolis, they didn't convert a lot of third downs. So the second half, if you convert third downs offensively, keep that clock running, and keep that other offense on the sideline, you'll be able to win this game. So I'm picking the Baltimore Ravens. I'm going to say the score of 24-10.
I agree with you as well. I think Baltimore will take care of business at home. I am going to definitely say in this game, I'm living the Suggs life. I think Terrell Suggs and company will definitely take care of business.
T-Sizzle.
Absolutely. I think
Also Hart University.
Oh, yes. I just don't see them allowing the Cincinnati Bengals to march into their house and spoil their playoffs. I don't see it. I think they'll play big. I think Flacco will play solid. I mean, they have a team of veterans that they've been there before. This isn't new to them. This is where teams like this, like your Patriots, like your Steelers, like your Falcons, teams that are built for this time of year, this is where they show up. This is where they play their best. And I just don't see the Bengals playing spoiler in this one. Not with this team anyway. I'm going to say Baltimore is going to win this one. I'm going to say 28-7. I don't think the Bengals are really going to put much of an effort into this one. Final matchup, Luke. I'm going to give this one to you, the Seahawks and the Cardinals.
Seattle at home. Hard to fathom them losing 3 years in a row to, just any one opponent, let alone the Cardinals, especially without Peterson, without Palmer. Now, I don't really have the stats to back me up on this, and it's really hard to do it with defensive players anyway, particularly the cornerback position, but just based off the eye test. I think Shaq Griffin's having a better rookie year than Richard Sherman did his first year in the league. Sherman's better than Griffin today, no doubt. But if you put 2012 Richard Sherman versus today's Shaq Griffin, I think Shaq Griffin's a little bit better than he is. We mentioned Justin Coleman, game he had against the Cowboys. Okay, we know the Seahawks aren't full strength. However, their backups are at full strength. I think they made their adjustments. Arians will have Bruce Arians always has a team prepared. For one reason or another, they haven't been able to quite get over that next step. They just had that NFC Championship game against the Panthers a few years ago where it just got all fell apart on them. About the closest they got, in the Arians area anyway. But I think Seattle's only going to cover the 8 points. That's a little high, especially the division opponent. Arizona would love nothing more to knock Seattle out of the playoffs. I don't think they do. I think Seattle wins 24-21. It's going to be just a white knuckler, knee-knocking game.
I'm going to go Seattle as well, but I'm going to go score lower. I say Seattle finds the way to get a key score at the end. Well, you say, like, see, 14-10, Cardinals and Russell Wilson just marches the offense down and score a touchdown. I don't trust Seattle's kicker. My life depended on it. And
Seahawks fans would almost rather be down 4 points than 3 points in that situation for that reason.
Yeah, exactly. So, and I think their defense is going to find a way to neutralize Arizona's offense, and special teams is going to come up big, and it's going to take either offense or defense to make that one crucial play to win the game. So I'm going to say Seattle wins the score of 17-14.
I'm going to say, despite all the dysfunction and all the troubles that the Seahawks have had, with the playoffs on the line, I think they will find a way to get it together. Because I think if they lose this game and they're out of the playoffs, there is going to be a lot to be cleaned in the offseason.
Say it like this: if Atlanta loses, if Seattle loses, Atlanta will get in the playoffs because Atlanta beat the Seahawks. So Seahawks have to win this game. They have to have that determination.
If that happens, Black Monday is going to rain pretty hard in Seattle.
Yes. And, I mean, the thing is, I know there's going to be a lot of finger pointing, whether it was the defense, whether it was Russell Wilson, whether it was the play calling to Pete Carroll. There's just going to be so much to talk about in Seattle, and I think at all costs, I think this is definitely something that, you kind of hope that this gets avoided. I mean, but at the same time, this is also one of those teams. This is where they show up. This is where your pretenders and contenders kind of separate themselves from each other. I definitely see Seattle. They're at home, so that's also something that's working with them as well. They're at home. Everybody knows what's at stake. You have veterans like your Wilson, the Legion of Boom. Hopefully, the Legion of Boom does show up with your leadership and Richard Sherman.
10 touchdowns for Jimmy Graham. I don't feel like that's getting covered by the media that much this year either.
Yeah, and you also have KJ Wright and Bobby Wagner are Thomas, the leaders of their defense. So that one has to be able to step up and lead that defense to win that game.
I'm going to say, I'm going to say I have a bias. I definitely don't have necessarily a favorite. I mean, but I'm actually kind of rooting for this because if Seattle, once again, if they don't make the playoffs, it is self-destruction in Seattle. No doubt about it. There's going to be a lot of issues and a lot of things going on for that franchise. So you hope that doesn't happen. At least for now, they can at least get into the playoffs and see what happens. I'm going to say the Seahawks do find a way to get it done at home. I'm going to say it is going to come down to the fourth quarter. I'm going to say this one is 21-14. I like the Seahawks, and they will make it to the playoffs.
All right, social media where you can follow us at Twitter page GCK_GNFLE. You can follow me on Twitter at Gameball, capitalized GAMEBALL _M lowercase YKE. You can also follow us on our Instagram page at GCK_GNFLE. Facebook, Gameball College Kickoff / Gameball NFL Endzone. Email, you can email us wherever you want, gck.gnfle@gmail.com. Twitter, like and subscribe, gck.gnfle on YouTube. Hit that subscribe button. Your social media?
Absolutely. Before I jump to that social media, once again, hit that subscribe button. 5 seconds. Get on our YouTube. Once again, thank you for the support of everybody in the social media, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We'll continue to just continue to get better at this podcast, and we can't do this without you guys. Instagram at JovelEnt, all one word, JOVELLEENT. Same thing with the Twitter page. You can also hit me up on Facebook, Marcus Jovel ENT Jenkins.
follow me on Facebook, Luke Hartnett. That's HARTNETT. Yes, like the actor Josh Hartnett, that I'm better looking. You can also follow me on Twitter at Luke Hartnett 2.
I like that. I'm just saying, all this eye candy, ladies, subscribe to. I'm just saying, if you want to look at this for about a good hour, I'm just saying, you can do that too. We ain't mad at you. I'm just saying. But no, definitely, this will wrap up the final podcast for 2017. So happy trails. Definitely want to wish everybody a happy and blessed New Year. So whatever you want to do
Happy
for
New
the
Year.
going out there and go get it. We'll see you guys in 2018. Futuristic.
Peace.